Hey guys, this is Poker with the double K. I'm Sahad and I'm here with
Zypher.
and and today we're going to be doing a character analysis of the new Justice League that is coming out. We'll be judging the characters that we think are going to be in the movie, all the characters that are relevant that we think are going to be in the movie, and we'll be judging them based on how we look at them in the comics, based on how they are in the movie. And if you are so, hopefully this comes up before the movie comes out, and we hope you enjoy. And if you are watching this after the movie has come out, then just wasting your time. So anyways, let's get started.
So we're starting off with the Trinity. First of all, Batman. So starting from the comics, we have Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy. His parents got killed in the alley. We all know Batman's story. It will be redundant to repeat it. If you don't know it, I'm sorry about your life. So his parents were killed in the alley. He grew up chasing justice. He worked on his deductive skills while trying to find the people who murdered his parents. He got entangled with Ra's who taught him how to fight. And yeah, he grew up to become Batman, the billionaire who uses gadgets in his to aid him fight. So yeah, that's how we've seen him portrayed in the comics. In the movie, it's something similar in that his parents got killed. He grew up. Yeah, his attitude is actually quite almost the same as in the comics.
Yeah, but we're not really talking about his attitude. Yeah, he's Bruce Wayne in the comics, in the movies. We're not arguing about that. What we want to talk about is his abilities. The Batman in the comics is epic. His fighting style was trained by Rachel Gould. He's an awesome fighter. And in the movie, so far as we've seen, he has shown that the warehouse scene where he just kicked those guys' butts was epic. The fact that he uses everything in his surrounding as a weapon. He carried the crane, hit someone's head, cracked his skull. Totally, the smoke bomb that he drops, the batarangs that he throws. So far, he has lived up to the name of Batman.
Yeah, from the comics, you also know that Batman is this dark character, breeding character, and in the cinematic universe, we've seen that, but not fully though, and we are hoping to see it in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, something we should note is that the Batman that has so far been displayed in the DCEU is the older Batman, kind of like in The Dark Knight Returns. So he has been through a lot. He's not in the mood for any nonsense. A villain comes, he takes out that villain, and he's done with it. He has already lost two Robins in the DCEU, so he doesn't have time to play around. And so far, they've depicted that quite well.
And what we want to really show, I want to mention about the Batman is the Batman in the Justice League. And so for this, we'll be talking about his influence. Like for him to be able to bring the Justice League together, like all these characters. Yes, he knows Wonder Woman, but Cyborg, Aquaman, Flash, they don't know him. So for them to actually join up with the Batman, they have to think he's a pretty interesting or pretty remarkable guy. So he must have that influence, that leadership skill that proves that he's well equipped to take on the threat that is coming, because they don't know about the threat. It's Batman telling them that something's coming. You guys have to help us. And so far, he has depicted this leadership skill that he was depicting in the comics. And so we.
Yeah, comics wise, we've had a lot of dope costumes, and so far, I'm loving what they're doing with that in the DCEU. The fact that he has different costumes for different situations, the Nightmare bat suit, the tactical suit, it's just something that I really like that they took from the comics. His different suits for different situations.
And so far, we've only seen three of these costumes. We've seen the one he used against Superman in BVS, and the normal Batman suit, and the tactical suit also.
Also, we saw the Nightmare suit in the scene where he was dreaming that Superman went all rogue. That was the Nightmare suit.
Yeah, that makes four suits that
yeah,
we've
four
seen
suits.
in the cinematic universe.
And yeah, we can also see that Batman himself takes everything seriously. He doesn't leave anything out of his plans. He looks at worst case scenarios, he plans from there. And so far, what we've seen in the DCU has been remarkable. They've really done Batman very well, and we love it.
Moving on to the second character of the Trinity, we have Superman.
Yep, and the Man of Steel himself has always been from time a Clark Kent, a farm boy. He's a farm boy at heart who lives in the big city as a reporter slash journalist. And we've seen some of that in what they portrayed as the Man of Steel and the Batman v Superman. But what we really didn't like was they didn't depict the farm boy attitude.
Yeah, combined with the fact that he's brooding too much, even from when he was a kid, it's something that is very, very not Superman like from the comics. He's not known for brooding. He is that jolly person who is always happy, and the fact that from when he was a kid he had that attitude was something that it deviated a bit from the comics.
And also, the Superman we know and love from the comic is the one that actually care for humans. He doesn't want to put humans at risk or at destruction path. But the ones that we've seen in the cinematic universe actually destroy the whole of Metropolis. So I don't think he's really in line with the one from the comics.
Yeah, but moving on from that, the Superman that we've seen, he's adopted by his foster parents and he has his Kryptonian parents. So yes, as a kid, Superman was heavily influenced by his foster parents. But and from what we've seen, it's a weird situation. Yes, Superman, when we saw in Man of Steel when his father was scolding him for saving the kids on the bus, the father was like, yeah, you could have allowed those kids to die to have saved your secret. But this kind of brought a lot of questions. If all the kids on the bus died and only Clark Kent survived, wouldn't there be questions as well? Well, even though this really deviated from the comics, even though they didn't want his secret to be found out, they didn't have qualms with him helping people.
Yeah, and also the fact that he was doubting himself really in Man of Steel was also something that deviated from the comics. In the comics, Superman is one person who is definitely sure about his heritage, he's sure about himself, he's sure about his future and destiny. But in the Man of Steel, he was completely confused. When Zod came and started telling him all those lies about his family and about what happened, he was actually for a second believing it. He almost went rogue, he almost decided to help Zod, which is something we haven't seen in the comics. Superman is always sure about himself. The level of lies that you have to tell to convince Superman that something he believes is wrong will actually have to be huge. But in Man of Steel, all was required was Zod telling him one or two sentences, and Superman started doubting himself, which was something that completely deviated from the comics.
Although in the Marvel, in the DC, in the DCU, Superman's both of his dads, they gave him contradicting advices. Like one was like kill, let them die, and the other one was like you should take up the mantle of being the Man of Steel and save everybody. But I think he honored them both at the end by destroying half of Metropolis and saving the whole world.
Yeah, and bringing up to that, Superman in the comics has always been someone that valued life and property. In Man of Steel, he was just crashing into buildings, no care, no worries. Like, don't worry, I'm sure you guys have millions of dollars to rebuild this. He really, really deviated from the comics.
Yeah, but moving from all that doom and gloom, we have the costume, which, although it also deviates from the comics, which was the bright red and blue, this one is more darker, but I have to say it looks awesome. It looks better on the big screen. The problem that most superhero movies have is depicting the superhero costumes, because most of the costumes in the comics are all bright and happy, which the movies can depict without it looking silly. Look to the old Superman movies for evidence. So the way they actually handled it with the dark blue, this almost scaly look, and the red threads, everything about it actually looked awesome.
Yeah, and we have to just love the fact that that pants is gone.
Yeah,
Underpants.
Finally,
We can stop calling him Captain Underpants.
also adding the grudge that he had against Batman in BVS, I can't really find sense in it. I think it's just dull and basically it's pointless because he's just
yeah, that was. Although I have to say that was something that I believe we should blame the writers for. It had nothing to do with the actor or the way the guy was, the way the character
he's
was
just doing
written.
his job.
Yeah, he was he's just doing his job. But the way they wrote it, they were trying to find beef. And Batman had good reason for hating Superman. Watch Man of Steel if you want to know the reason. But Superman was all like, the way he goes around these things is too tough. Let me go take him down. So that beef was actually unfound for, and it was actually something that brought Superman levels down. But hopefully in Justice League they'll actually fix most of the Superman problems and improve on the good things we've already seen so far.
And now we're down to the last member of the Trinity, not our characters overall, so don't get it twisted. And on number three, our third character is Wonder Woman. And from the origins of Wonder Woman, the Princess of Themyscira, we have shown that we have seen that she's a character that is new to the modern age of time. Like, she's not used to technology. Mankind's technology has always baffled her. And so far in the comics and in the cinematic universe, they've shown that quite alright. Like when she jumped onto boots, when she entered restaurants, when she saw what women were wearing. She was like, all of this is very intriguing. The doors, all the thing. It was really nice how they portrayed her naivety in the comics the same way as they did in the cinematic universe.
Also, in the comics, Wonder Woman has been portrayed to be a woman of purpose, and so far in the DCEU, they have shown that when she puts her mind to something, she actually gets the job done, and she doesn't falter in any way. Moving on to the costume, personally, my favorite costume is the New 52 costume where she had the long pants on, which was really epic. But the DCEU decided not to go with that. Their costume is still nice, though it's a little bit skimpy and all
but
that.
it's
but it's
basically
still
warrior-like.
Yeah, it's warrior-like. It enables flexibility and all that, so they have their basis for that.
Hopefully, nobody on our team is a pervert.
Actually, permit me to say I miss the iconic big boobs of Wonder Woman. Though in the cinematic universe it is not there, but I actually miss it. In the comics, Wonder Woman is known for the big boobs. I'm not being a pervert, but actually most guys as we were growing up, we liked seeing Wonder Woman with the big jugs. But what happened in the cinematic universe? Although Gal Gadot is a very beautiful and sexy actress, but still.
Yeah, that's enough from our resident pervert. So moving on to more categories that are actually more important, we have
Her powers and strength level. In the comics, Wonder Woman can actually fly, and in the comics,
some comics, might we say.
her main weapon, her focus weapon, are her bracelets and her lasso. But in the movies, they kind of deviated from that fact. Her main weapons are her bracelets, but her shield and sword. They kind of they really neglected the lasso, and I really didn't like that.
Yeah, although I can actually kind of understand, because in BVS, where she first debuted, she was fighting Doomsday, and the lasso wouldn't do much against that big hulking beast. But in the Wonder Woman movie, we did see her use the lasso a couple of times, though not just as the lasso of truth. We only saw that once. Other times she was using it as a whip, which is understandable since her lasso is, like you said, one of her basic weapons. Although we would love to see more of the lasso of truth. That's one of the most iconic parts of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, the lasso of truth could have saved her a lot of trouble. Like, she wouldn't have had to kill the wrong Ares. All she had to do was lasso him up and say, "Why are you doing this, Ares?" And he'd be like, "I'm not Ares." And
yeah, that would have saved a lot of trouble.
Although in the comics, I believe that DC, permit me to say, they are confused, because in some comics, Wonder Woman can fly, and in some other comics, they've given her an invisible jet. I don't understand. They should just make up their mind. Can she fly, or does she need a jet?
And so far in the DCAU, we are still not sure she can fly. We've seen her jump really high and hover for a long time, like when she was in God mode against her villain Ares, which is another thing I want to state. I'm not sure how they're going with this, but the way she was described, Wonder Woman isn't a god, she's a demigod. But then Ares went ahead to call her a god and all that, which is confusing. I'll actually like them to, just point blank state it, is she a god or a demigod?
Yep, they don't have their facts down with Wonder Woman, we would say. But another thing we really loved about should I say confused about Wonder Woman, was her attitude. In the comics, Wonder Woman is this person that loves battle. Yes, they show that in the movies, but she also charges with her allies. She like Superman, Batman, forth to glory. We never saw any of that. We never saw her give her all these good ranting battle cries. She just like, okay, I'm going in there now. If you guys want to follow me, sure. If you guys don't want to, I'm going to my own.
Yeah, that's an issue I guess we should put to the choreography of BVS, where it seemed like three individual people fighting just coincidentally one guy. There was no teamwork. The only type of teamwork we might see is Wonder Woman lassoing Doomsday, keeping him still while Batman shot the kryptonite gas and Superman stabbed him. But even at that, there needed to be more, movements, like, choreography between all three. Like when you see the Avengers fighting, you can actually see Thor and Cap, throwing the shield, exchanging, hammering, all that. Well, that was actually something they felt, though that is going to be a Justice League problem, not a Wonder Woman problem per se. So yeah, generally Wonder Woman, they've actually done not too bad a job of her. They've depicted her attitude very well, and the fact that she likes war. We saw that in BVS, like was previously stated, where she was fighting Doomsday, she got hit away, she smiled and went back into battle. So far they've actually done a pretty good job of depicting her as she is in the comics.
Talking about the choreography and working together, I mean the Trinity themselves, I hope we get to see that in Justice League, because if they are all going to be in Justice League and they won't be working together as the Trinity, I believe it's just pointless.
Yeah, they are the Trinity. We need to see them together.
You are a warrior, not a child. Act like it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now follow me to victory!
And now we're down to our next character, which is Flash, Barry Allen. Who doesn't love the ultimate speedster, the creator of the Speed Force? So, how do you think they portrayed him, his character?
Yeah, so in the comics we have Barry Allen, forensic scientist. His mom died at an early age, and his dad was convicted for the murder, wrongly might I add. And so he grew up becoming a forensic scientist, trying to discover what was wrong, like what went wrong, because he knew for sure that his dad didn't kill his mom. So he became a detective to try and find out how. Then he was involved in an accident where lightning struck him, combined with some chemicals in his lab, and he became the Flash, the crime-fighting speedster we all know and love from Central City.
Although in the cinematic universe we don't know much more about his backstory or his origin story, we have to wait till Justice League comes out before we can decide on that.
Or maybe even the Flash, they might not talk about his origin in Justice League, so who knows?
So basically, what I just think is that in the cinematic universe, they've shown us the funny Flash, the funny Barry Allen we all knew, like in the comics. So that's like one correlation I can see in between them.
Yeah, but one thing that we really can't say we were all too happy about is the suit.
Yeah,
Now, the Flash suit in the Justice League is kind of heavy. He looks like he came straight out of Power Rangers, and that is his character is very hard to see how he runs in that, because we would imagine him hitting himself. The fact the joints would be very hard to move.
Pinball.
Yeah, and the fact that him moving at very high velocity, and if he should just hit something combined with the hardness of his suit, he might just break a couple of bones.
I was even expecting something in the line of the CW Flash, although I was expecting it to be much more deeper than that. But still, I wasn't expecting something all scaly and metallic like that.
Yeah, the only Flash suit I can think of that matches that is the Elseworld Flash suit, and even that it's actually more tighter than that. But we haven't seen the explanation that the Justice League are going to give the Flash suit. We did see the trailer where Flash was explaining the dynamics of how the suit works to Batman, where he was like, it's an astronaut suit, so it allows maneuverability and all that. But we expect them to explain it really into details, because like you said, there is a lot of space in the suit and he's going to be running around in it at high velocity, so he should be hitting the sides of the armor, and so yeah, that doesn't make sense. And then combine that with the design, the only flaw we see in the suit, the only flaw we see in the suit is not the it's not only the
Material.
yeah, the physics. Yeah, the suit itself looks really off. It doesn't look dope. I mean, you can't compare it to the Batman Superman suits, which all fit to perfection. So I don't know, it's something they could develop as they move into more. Maybe we might even see a different Justice League suit. Maybe Batman will ask Lucius Fox to create one that is more suitable. We don't know yet, but so far what we've seen, it's not really that inviting.
Yeah, and we'd also like to talk about his movement. In the comics, Barry Allen is always seen moving, but with after images. Like, you can always see slighter, fading,
Like blurry.
And a bit
blurry
of like,
and a bit of it. But in the movie so far, as we've seen through the trailers and the BVS, he looks like he's just blasting into places. Like he explodes into lightning. He's moving inside. Like it's really weird how he's moving.
yeah, although there are some theories that this version of the Flash might not actually be running through like cities, but actually running in the Speed Force, which explains why he can't be seen while he's running, but rather you just see sparks of him in places, which will make sense. But then it's not confirmed, so we hope they actually give a good explanation, because visually the after image is actually much more pleasing to see. It actually makes much more sense. Look to Marvel's Quicksilver. I'm referring to the MCU own, where we could actually see the versions of him doing things as he was running. Like you could actually see the after images doing things, and also the Fox's Quicksilver, which also depicted it quite well.
Okay. So talking about the way he moves and all, I believe that with that lightning, it doesn't work well with stealth, because knowing Barry Allen, I mean the Flash is this kind of person that does things in a sleek way. But the Barry Allen in the DCU, imagine him trying to save someone in a tight spot or trying to sneak up on the villain. The villain will spot him, although he will be very fast, but villain we know that the Flash is around due to the bursting of lightning.
And yeah, and that lightning is not also good for saving people in convenience stores. You'd also be damaging a lot more than it's actually saving from being stolen.
Yeah, we saw that.
How harmful the lightning is to people around him. Probably it's gonna be it probably won't hurt the people he catch, but if it were falling, if it's actually lightning around him, then if he's to catch someone who is falling, the lightning actually has to affect the person, since we see the sparks of lightning, just not lightning following him like it normally is. Also, one thing I like to state, which I really loved about it, is that this is not clear since it was just like 2 seconds of the trailer, but there was a scene where he touched glass and it seemed like it took zero effort out of him to break it, which is something I've actually been looking forward to in any speedster. We saw it in Quicksilver and other things. When he moves a bullet, the bullet is actually moving with a lot of force, but since he's moving really fast, it takes nothing from him to push a bullet, which a normal person can't actually push a bullet. It will actually just drill through the person's hand. So that's actually something I love that they paid attention to. When moving at super speed, you do get a certain level of super strength, and the fact that he was able to just touch through that glass, that's actually something I like that they paid attention to.
Yeah, and also the uncertainty of the Flash in battle. Like when we saw all those clips that he said he just pushed some people and run away. Yes, the Flash in the comics, he's not really that sure about his combat abilities. Yeah, we like that, but to an extent they kind of downplayed him. Like they made him seem like this wimp that just goes around pushing people about that try to steal stuff. So yeah, we kind of like what they did to the Flash. They didn't deviate too much from the comics.
Yeah, although we've only seen Flash in clips and scenes from different movies, like 10 seconds in BVS, 10 seconds in Suicide Squad, so we haven't seen much of him. We're just judging based on the tiny we've seen on him. Maybe they can improve on him, maybe they'll show a lot more of him, but so far I guess so good.
And now we are down to the Aquaman.
The guy that went from being SpongeBob into Poseidon.
Yeah, so we have Arthur Curry, son of a fisherman. We have the king of Atlantis. So he grew up by the seashore as the son of a fisherman. As things went on, he discovered his heritage. He came back to Atlantis. He became the king of Atlantis. So yeah, once again, like in the situation of the Flash, we don't know what his backstory is since Justice League comes out before his actual movie, so they might actually touch on it in the Justice League movie, or they might wait till the Aquaman movie, maybe just drop 1 or 2 trails that they can follow up. But yeah, so far we can't see anything about his origin.
Yeah, but one thing we can't see about his lifestyle is the fact that if he's the king of Atlantis, what's he doing chilling out in a bar about the seaside shore of maybe a place called Norway? He's the king. I should believe that he has more pressing matters to attend to, and a place like Atlantis is not so shy of invaders and enemies, even enemies from within, like people like Black Manta.
Yeah, although once again, this is all theoretical because we haven't seen the movie. We are thinking that there's a possibility that maybe he was taken off his throne. Maybe something bad happened to him while he was in Atlantis and he had to leave, and this is why he has become, I don't mean to say a drunkard, but someone who gets drunk all the time and all that. Because yeah, like mentioned, he does have a kingdom to rule. He doesn't have time to be sitting down in bars, brawling and drinking. So maybe something happened that pushed him away from Atlantis. We don't know yet. But if nothing happened, then that doesn't actually make sense.
Moving on to other matters, let's talk about his costume. Originally from the comics, the costume was I don't even know the word to describe the costume because
it was disgusting.
It was it was basically disgusting. But thank God for the new 52, they rebooted the costume in a nice way, the much more like deeper orange scaly one, and the fact that his hair is now like much more longer and the facial hair they gave him and all.
Yeah, the what they call it, the costume looks awesome. The costume in the Justice League trailer that we have seen is kind of like a dark orange or brownish color and the very darkish sea green. So we love what they did with the costume and the fact that his trident as always looks epic. Another thing we'd like to state are his powers.
Before we state his powers, I don't understand something about this Aquaman in the DCEU. He seems like this carefree character. He's throwing his trident in the air, not caring where it lands, and riding on anything he could.
Oh yeah, I think what DCU went with here is they tried to go as far away as possible from the original one, which was actually one of the best decisions they've made so far. So the original Aquaman in comics is one who follows rules. You can remember him, he was the kind who, while saving, give good advice to people and stuff like that. And they were trying to no comparison. We don't want our Aquaman to be anything like that, and so we have the carefree Aquaman. We see him surfing
A
parademons for crying out loud, flying in the air, even though he doesn't have flight, stabbing people in the air. When Cyborg caught him, all like, oh yeah, let's keep going, and then they threw him again, riding the Batmobile, jumping in the air and catching parademons. It just has this. Although I have to say, I really love it, even if that's not what they went with the character. It's still a lovely addition to it. He's the only carefree one in Justice League. Everyone else has a certain level of seriousness or just point joking like Flash is, but he's the only carefree character we have in the Justice League, and I really love that about him.
Okay, so about his powers, I really like the fact that they are showing that he can actually control water. Like the part where he stormed the trident on the floor and the waters went different ways and all. And I think basically he's just
he has a bit of super strength. We've not seen a lot of that, although we've seen him do a lot of things, but we have seen his durability. He did crash into a building and go through and then come out like nothing happened to him. So he does have a lot of durability. So we're hoping that they actually stick to all the good parts of his powers.
Although we haven't seen much though. We've
not seen much.
Yeah, another thing we really didn't like about his powers was the fact that when he stopped the trailer, it looked cool, but he didn't feel like he was freely manipulating the water. He felt like the water was moving against him, and he was like, "You stop there! I'm the king of the water. You should obey me." And the fact that he wasn't really controlling the water, so we really don't know the extent of his powers. Because in the comics, Aquaman can't control water. Don't get it twisted, he can't. But he can control the sea animals. But here, we really sure the sea animals wouldn't come of use. But the fact about it that right now we're only seeing an Aquaman that can breathe underwater and can stop water with his trident.
Actually, Batman talked about him being able to communicate with sea creatures.
Yeah, they made a joke about it.
Oh, I heard you can talk to fishes.
Yeah. Also, another part of his powers that they have shown, although we've not seen a lot of him, is his speed underwater. In the scene where Wonder Woman watched him, after he broke whatever it is he broke, he actually sped out, and we could actually see the sonic boom when he reached the speed of sound in water, which was actually something pretty dope. So far they've actually done a good job of Aquaman. They went away from the classical version, which was all comic SpongeBob type, and they went with this more serious person. And the actor they actually took is one of the best people they could have used for the role, Jason Momoa. He's actually serious. He has that look with him. He has that suffer attitude around
and
him.
He used to be a lifeguard.
I have no idea what he just said, but that was really they've actually done a good job with Aquaman.
Relax, Alfred. I'll take it from you.
And now we have everyone's favorite character, Cyborg.
Actually, Cyborg is our favorite character, but just the suit.
So where should we begin? Is it the fact that he looks like a scribbled amount of paper, or that they crafted him from cardboard boxes? The fact is that this suit is too gritty. Like he looks like he just
shiny.
They rolled him in glue and they just pushed him along the sand and stones, just stuck to his body. This suit is too. I don't want to cuss online, but the suit is just. And the fact about it is that he's skinny. Cyborg is not supposed to be skinny. He just looks like they just removed his head and put it on top of a robotic body.
Yeah, also I like to state just as a disclaimer that he only looks skinny when they are using the CGI, where his chest actually looks broad, and then when it goes down it's actually thin. But the actor himself is actually quite fit and beef, and when like the scene where he was coming from the football field and we saw him walking, it actually seemed buff and everything, and he is a football player, so he's actually meant to look buff. But moving back a bit, let's go to his origin. So we have Victor Stone, son of Silas Stone, who was a professor in Star Lab, a scientist, should I say. So Victor was involved in an accident and he had to lose some of his body parts to survive, and they had to be replaced by some mechanical parts. There were some issues getting some parts that fit and actually kept him alive, but when his father came across the mother box, it actually helped integrating his life force with the mechanical aspects. So his father had to use the mother box. There was actually nothing else that could work. And so far, that's what Justice League is going with. We saw the scene where Wonder Woman was watching Silas Stone's vlogs, and we actually saw them try different metals and it actually didn't work. And when he brought up the mother box, it integrated with him and formed the nonsense on his body that people are calling a suit.
Yeah, and so let's go to we haven't really seen much about his character. He only said a few words in the Justice League trailer, but the Cyborg in the comics is a kid. Should we say he's not immature per se, but he's like in his teenage.
He makes jokes.
He's
He
not
smiles.
totally mature. Yeah.
Yeah, the cyborg we know and love from the comics, even the animated series, is this fun-loving guy. He eats pizza a lot. He does a lot of fun things. But the one that we've seen so far, from the clips we've seen and the trailer, he didn't even smile just for once.
Yeah, I never thought anyone could be more stressed than Henry Cavill as Superman, but Cyborg came to prove us wrong. We didn't see him crack a single smile or give a single joke. Even when the scene where he took over the plane, the Batmobile,
The giant Batmobile.
the Bat vehicle, because we don't exactly know which of his vehicles it is yet. But when he took over the Bat vehicle from Alfred, we're actually expecting a joke. Like his normal Cyborg would have given a joke, but he was all like, "It's okay, I'll take it from here, Alfred." That monotone he has, that mechanical voice,
And
everything
the
doesn't.
look in his eyes.
Yeah, the look on his eyes, everything doesn't really match Cyborg. Though, putting aside all that hatred, there are some things we love about him.
Yep, we're talking about his weapons. Yes, the cyborg didn't show all of the cyborg in the comic weapon, but we're pretty sure they would get there. They've shown the sonic blast, the ability for him to integrate his hand itself into a weapon, into a blaster. We love the fact, and the fact about his jetpacks are still cool. The fact that when he's in orbit, the armor actually comes up to cover his face. We love that they're taking all these things into consideration after they messed the suit up so bad.
Okay. I'm having a theory about why he's all gloomy and he hasn't been smiling. And all. I'm thinking maybe they're trying to tell us injustices that he just became cyborg and he's having time to. He's still dealing with the fact that he's not human anymore.
Yeah, most of the happy, fun-loving cyborgs we've seen are the ones who have gotten over the fact that he's now half machine. He has lost most of the things that make him human. If we look at the DC Rebirth Cyborg, it actually starts off with him in this mode. He's stressed, he doesn't smile. You bring him to the Justice League, he's stressed. It takes a while for him to now become happy, put aside the fact that he's now half machine. And since we've not seen the Cyborg movie yet, maybe they don't want to make him all happy in Justice League and then have to revert to his stressed part in the Cyborg movie. So he's just stressed. We go into the Cyborg movie and then we see him progress into that happy, fun-loving Cyborg we see. So we're still keeping our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
But still, we still hate the suit. Even Teen Titan knows better.
Yeah, so if we continue this, we just continue dissing the suit. So we are cyborg, they didn't get the suit wrong, but they're not so
They have
far.
gotten a lot of
They have
things
gotten a
right.
lot of things right, and we hope they improve on this.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And now we are down to our last character. Haha, I thought we're done. We're not. And we have Steppenwolf. So where should we start with Steppenwolf?
Let's just give a brief history of his origin.
Yeah, before we start dissing him. Steppenwolf is Darkseid's scientist, like his go-to guy for all these genetic, because Darkseid is a world conqueror. And Steppenwolf is the person that creates Darkseid's armies. He's one that creates the parademons. He's one that performs all those intricate experiments that Darkseid needs to do, because Darkseid is a conqueror. He doesn't care about all these things. So Steppenwolf is the one that does all these things.
Funny enough, do you guys know that Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle?
Yeah,
So-
fun fact.
Fun fact, yeah, fun fact.
Yeah, but in the DCAU, we haven't seen that about him. So far, I haven't seen a smart guy called Steppenwolf. We haven't seen him do anything smart, anything. We've not seen any mad scientist aspect of him yet. Although, yes, we only saw him once for 5 seconds in BVS, and we've only seen him a couple of times in the trailer. But he seems more of a warrior than a scientist, which, although they can actually do it well if they know what they are doing, so we won't actually complain about that. Though they are deviating from the comics, if they know what they are doing, they can actually do the warrior part of him very well. But yeah, so far we haven't seen him done anything smart. We haven't seen him any scientific aspect to him. We've only seen the warrior with the axe going around fighting.
Another thing we really didn't like how they deviated from the comics about Steppenwolf is how he looks. In the trailers that we've seen so far, in the 5 seconds we saw him in BVS, looks like he beefed up a lot. Like him and Darkseid do crunchies competition. they both do push-ups together, first to get to 1,000. And that's not the Steppenwolf we know in the comics. He's skinny, and for him to become enhanced, he actually needs to wear a suit. This now he looks like he's just wearing a little leotard that just covering his massive physique, and the way he carries that axe around is like raw.
I actually, personally, to me, I don't understand. If the Justice League, they have to go through all this trouble just to stop Steppenwolf, and knowing Steppenwolf, like normally he's not on the same level with Darkseid. I wonder what they will do against Darkseid.
Yeah, another thing that we really didn't feel like they deviated from the comics was that yes, Steppenwolf was meant to scout out the Earth. Yes, we understand that he's Darkseid man, that he goes there, he tests their strength. But does he really need to take it that far?
Yeah, Steppenwolf is not the warrior type. He's not the person you see go and prepare Earth for me, like go and find their strongest heroes and defeat them all. So yeah, that was one part of Steppenwolf that they didn't they decided to deviate from the comics with the fact that he's actually there, he's actually fighting the Justice League. There are other people that Darkseid could have sent. Darkseid does have his generals, that those are the fighters. Those are the ones he should have sent to fight. So Steppenwolf actually, because we did see the flashback scene in the trailer where he was fighting the Amazonians in Themyscira, that's actually not supposed to be something Steppenwolf does. There are other people he should have sent for that. Maybe with some experiments on something he calls Steppenwolf, but if it comes to fighting, go recover that mother box for me. He has other generals who actually specify in fighting.
The Steppenwolf we've seen, like the Justice League, basically they're not even fighting Steppenwolf according to the trailers and the clips we've seen. It's like the Justice League are basically fighting the Parademons. And if Steppenwolf is supposed to come and scout the Earth, it doesn't need that much Parademons.
Yeah, it's like we have the Justice League versus the Parademons and the boss fight versus Steppenwolf as well. Like they really downplayed his role. Like yes, we see him in a flashback, but it's a flashback. And we might have seen a clip of them actually fighting Steppenwolf, but in the pipeline scene, the fight he goes, and most of the time they are fighting the Parademons. Like the Parademons seem like the bigger problem here. In the Avengers 1, Loki was the problem, but it was because Loki had an army. They stated that it was a problem because he had an army. But here it's like the army is the problem, but they're just being led by Steppenwolf.
Yeah, that's quite true. And also, someone like Thanos, I didn't want to bring the Marvel Universe into this, but someone like Thanos, although they had time to develop him, from what we've seen, we actually understand why it takes all the Avengers plus some extra characters to fight him. Someone like Steppenwolf, we have actually not seen anything about him. And someone might argue that, yeah, we've not seen much of Steppenwolf, but we haven't seen much of Thanos either. It's just the build of the hype in it that actually make us fear Thanos. We actually fear for the Avengers when they face him. But someone like Steppenwolf, they're like, oh, how much damage can the Parademons do? Steppenwolf, they handle him later. That kind of thing. It actually seems like the side character while the main villains are the Parademons. And that is not supposed to be. The Parademons are supposed to be the ones to maybe, disturb them a little bit, do one or two things, distract them, while Steppenwolf is the main villain. But so far, we just see them like Aquaman surfing Parademons, Batman practicing his taijutsu on Parademons, all that, Flash pushing some Parademons around. We've not actually seen them do much against Steppenwolf in the trailers, and that is something that really puts us off it, because Steppenwolf is supposed to be hyped up if he's going to be the main villain of the Justice League.
I believe this Justice League is supposed to set up Darkseid being the main villain of the DCEU. But basically, from everything we've seen, we've not even seen anything about Darkseid, except for the nightmare that Batman had in BVS. And they just showed Parademons and the Darkseid sign, that Omega symbol. That was all. And again, I didn't want to drag Marvel into it, but the way they built up Thanos and everything was basically nice.
Though arguably we've not seen the Justice League movie yet, so
we can't
maybe
really
there might
decide.
be a teaser for Darkseid in it or something. So let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, another thing we'd like to say before we step off is the fact that the army is just chilling when Justice League is dealing with the Parademons. They're like, oh well, we don't do it.
Yeah, we've not seen any signs of military men or anything
Like
taking up
even the policemen, they're like, we're not paid for this.
Yeah, the integration
The
integration of Commissioner Gordon in Justice League, I don't know how they're going to do it, because normally he doesn't want their help. Maybe once or twice after Batman has convinced him, maybe he'll accept Batman. But so far we've just seen him, okay, yeah, we need your help. How many more people do you need? That kind of thing. We've not actually seen that resistance against Batman and the Justice League. Though it's understandable that Batman has been Batman for a long time, so maybe he has earned his trust. But we might have to see that, let the police do their work first part of it.
Basically, these are just theories. We haven't seen the movies.
Yeah, this is just
so we can't just
trailers
really
and few
decide.
clips.
Again, if we are doing this after the movie and you watched it and you're still with us, thanks for wasting your time with us. We love you. So with that, we'd like to round up this. We really love doing this video. If you check this out and you like our content, check out other videos hopefully when the Justice League comes out, we do a video on that as well.
Yeah, Justice League comes out on the 17th of November. You guys have to watch it. It's a must watch.
And like, subscribe, share this with a friend. And from all of us at the Poker Team,
Peace out.